phone, the charge of the Light Brigade. I'll make sense of it as we go along. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The title of today's lecture is The Charge of the Light Brigade. This was during the Crimean War, around 1854, I'm trying to remember. But it was it was when the British attacked the Russian position out of stupidity and arrogance. The charge of the Light Brigade, I think almost everybody was wiped out because the thing says cannons to the right of them, cannons to the left of them, into the valley of death rode the 600. That means that the Russians had cannons on all sides, and out of British arrogance and stupidity, they rode into the valley of death. And so that's one of the famous poems in history. They even have movies about it. And I just thought about it because this takes place in the same region. Crimea, 8 years ago, the Russians, or Crimea joined back with what's called, Russia. Okay, they also have Ukraine, and Ukraine, if you would remember, a little over a year ago, when they were having the hearings on Ukraine, and Donald Trump was involved, but more than Donald Trump, dummies, whatever his name is, the old man that's running around trying to be the president, that guy is really looking like a clown. He's really just like he on the sympathetic side, he's worse than Donald Trump is on the psycho side, because he's just blowing it. Okay, although the charge of the Light Brigade deal with the British Empire, we have now the Russians and Putin in place, which I consider this guy Putin almost equal to the Chinese in strategic. It's just that the Chinese got the whole party behind them, and they really on the money. If they could polish up a little bit in Africa and a few more little things, they would be really acceptable. Because this Chinese characteristics is really something. You know, Marxism, Leninism with Chinese characteristics. Shoot. Well, I'll just say it, but I'll get back to the original. See, thing about China, now you got to remember, right now in this whole triology, you can take China, the U.S. is trying to ferment stuff with Taiwan right now. They just really at it. And everybody know it. The Chinese know it, they know it, everybody know it. So if the Chinese is smart, they'll use this issue very correctly, not going back to the old Chinese laundryman, but just to play with, I would be suggesting, the Chinese should play with the West on this. They should play with them, just like we play with them. Loosen up a little bit. They didn't already won the fight. They don't have to worry about it. Plus, look who they up against now. They used to be just beating on Iran by itself, and Iran was holding up. And then they smoothed in a whole lot of allies that needed help, that drew off of Iran. Whether it's Lebanon, whether it's Yemen, right? Whether it's Palestine, right? Whatever it was, now you got to remember that the U.S. goes in, they talking about how we doing this to help the world and all of that dumb stuff, and they forget their record. I was listening to white folks this morning. They said 80 since World War II, 82% or 81, 82% of the invasions in the world since World War II has been this dummy here. And just imagine, I mean, the ink is not even dry right on the Gulf War I and II. Okay. Afghanistan, a day before yesterday. Abu Ghraib, all of that stuff. Guantanamo, where they go to take people down there, you never hear from them again, right? And they hold you there for 100 years. Well, I mean, they might as well hold them for, they done had them brothers since I don't know when, without trial, in front of everybody like this is all right. The Zionists have stole Palestine and murdered Palestinians on TV every day, all day, and the U.S. is waving the Zionist flag, right? And all of a sudden, they come out with crocodile tears about poor Ukraine. Now, we're trusting, we're ready for the fun to flow. This is going to be big fun. You got to realize it. Did Dear Putin, I call him Dear Putin now. Well, why not? What the heck? When he turn on us, which he might, then we're going on our thing. But right now, it's Dear Putin. Why? Into the valley of death rode the 600. The Russian guns during the Crimean War was waiting for the number one imperialist, the British, to ride in there, and they blasted them to death. Okay, let's reverse it or add into it now. So, when did Putin realize that they laid a trap for him? He had to realize it 100 years ago, right? So, now, if he's sitting there and he tells everybody, okay, he give them their 3-time warning, you over here, forget about the Cuban Missile Crisis when he was going to send the world down, the World War III, when it would have made a big difference. And invade Cuba, all right. You felt that was your sphere of influence, 90 miles away. So what do you think about you going to put missiles and everything right next door to me, and I'm supposed to take it, right? So he done told them all them times. So let's look at it this way. The whole scenario, the U.S. is arranging a policy to get out of the dumps, to get into respect. They ran out of Afghanistan. They've been ran out of Iraq. They've been run out of everywhere, and everybody's laughing at them. But when a system is on the decline and on the way out, everything that it does accelerates its decline. So let's look at it the way it kind of is, just on the surface. First of all, Dear Putin just waits on them and waits on them and waits on them. And then they got all the troops there, and they just, okay, everybody, wave at all your friends, and we get that. Don't forget that the areas that they go in on the way to the capital is mostly ethnic-speaking Russians. Okay, and therefore, they're all for it. Okay. The other thing is the dumb Americans. Remember have you ever seen a Negro when he just messing up and it seems like he'll lose his job, he'll lose his house, After that, automatically he loses family, he loses everything. And the longer he goes, he accelerates his own decline. He starts off by missing some things at work because whatever he's on, right? Okay. The U.S. is on illusion. They're drunk on illusion. They like, look, and they can't see, don't worry about it. They're not going to add anything up that's right because they're in an illusionary condition, right? We can call it something sophisticated like strategic illusionaryism. It's a disease that people get. It is true. When you're going downhill, the further you go downhill, you accelerate. And we saw people going up and down all their life. I don't care whether it's sports, when a guy coming in and he coming up, he can't throw the ball wrong. He almost can't do anything wrong. And if he do, he doing so much right, nobody pay no attention to it. But maybe the battering starts messing with his body, and he's not as brave as getting hit. He starts protecting himself from getting hit. He usually get the ball, just run that, but after a while, he get a little leery. You know why he get leery? Because he knows what his body feels like. He has to soak himself in a hot tub after every game. You know what I mean? Full of all kind of liniment and medicines and everything, right? Why? He done broke, I don't know how many ribs and what have you. It could be him. It could be a rodeo guy. All that stuff happens in every sport, there's a thing that attaches to you. If you're a pitcher, your arm starts to go, not your leg or your back, you know what I mean? If you're a rodeo rider, you done got gored and going back and forth on that horse for them horses and bulls for about so many years, it racks your body. You get your body, when the weather changes, you just stiff up. And when you stand up, you can't just stand up right away. You got to creep up because that 10 years of rodeo riding, 20 years, don't talk about 20 years of rodeo. You done got gored by so many bulls and cattle and kicked, you know what I mean? The clown can't get everybody, every one of them all the time, right? So you done got kicked by them 2-ton animals and they mad and, you're feeding them gunpowder and they just as mean as they can be. You know what I mean? Here you are, weigh 200 pounds, they get you in them horns and you ever see them, they throw people off. Good God Almighty. After 20 years of that, your body is tore up. Okay, now, that's the way the United States is right now. In this struggle, the United States is tore up. Well, think about it. 58,000 in Korea, and that's what the Chinaman's made the movie. We talk about it, Chosin. All of that stuff was dealing with the so-called, in those days, Red Chinese and all of that, right? So in the wars, he haven't won a war since World War II. He lost in Korea. Everybody knows about Vietnam, right? He might have went in the Gulf War and killed everybody, right? But it don't go down for a win. In the world's picture, he invaded. Look, they talk about what Putin say. This guy done invaded Iraq off weapons of mass destruction. It's a joke. They got him in the UN showing them little things, little trucks moving around. And Colin Powell, poor fella, he said that was a big lie, and he was against his own self for telling that lie, And he kind of let everybody know that was a big fat lie. Okay. Abu Ghraib people hanging up on wires. You know what I mean? Remember them pictures? Okay, that's the United States. Mean old red Russia is way in the background. Everything, the U.S.'s record on everything, all the allies, this has all happened in the last few days, a few months now. Okay, Australia going to get some submarines from France, right? Well, you get ours. You pay $1 zillion for nuclear submarines you're going to get in 10 years. 10 years, right? They can't get them next week. You can't get them. They got to make them first, if the U.S. can still make them. Okay, so their allies, like the French, right? Okay, their allies, like the Germans. Guess where the Germans and all the Europeans get all their heat and gas?